Hello, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wanted for all of you to get to know me a little bit better. For those of you who don't know me from Instagram, my name is Leon. I'm from Israel. I moved to Canada about in August. That will be my 10-year anniversary in Canada, which is a long time. I also asked some of you on Instagram questions, and I will be addressing your questions here. So let's get to it. First question: how many years have I lived in Israel? So I was born and raised in Israel. I did everything. I lived in Israel for 23 years. Next question: how do I manage my life with ADHD and what kind of ADHD do I have? Oh boy, so I have ADHD, which means that I'm also on the spectrum. So that's been a whole fun to navigate. How do I manage it? I don't. So this is the second time I am shooting this because the first time I realized that I wasn't even using my mic. I thought I had it attached. It wasn't. I had to refilm the whole thing. I'm still learning how to manage and navigate my ADHD, so it's really funny because I enjoy doing what I do and I have no problem fighting anti Semites online, like left and right, like terrorists, idiots, communists, all of that. But when I'm not doing that, when I am not fighting trolls in my comments, you'll probably just see me struggling to wash my dishes, if it kind of makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm still working on that one. How is it being a Jew in Canada? And do I have groyper trash like in America? So I don't know if I'm a good example of what it's like to be a Jew in Canada because my experience feels a little bit one of a kind, but I am not in contact with anyone pre October 7. All of that friend group is just gone, and all of it was for Gaza, all because I refused to denounce terrorists. Also, like, not only is Canada extremely left wing on its own, I'm on the West Coast, which is the capital of the left in Canada. I have a lot of blue haired leftists that think that being an activist mean pipe bombs. What happened to the days where activists used to be, hugging trees? Activism is meant to be non-violent. This should be non-controversial. Your activism should be non-violent. If your activism is violent, it's not activism. Yeah, I would say that in Canada, I'm more worried about the left and the right. But right now, I think that they just have a giant blind spot to the radical left.
What's with the
It's my disguise.
I can see your face?
You know when I do this, you go.
That's a good one. How to deal with Muslims and Muslim allies. Because I think that it's an important distinction because Muslims also suffer from Muslims, or, rather from radical Islamists the most. And I think that with Muslim allies, it's very important to remember that they're also often facing the most danger when they speak up. They can be disowned by their family, they can be facing death threats from their own family, and that's why a lot of the times I think it's very important to appreciate Muslim allies because you need to understand just how much they're putting on the line. A lot of them don't have the support system when they speak up. With the Muslims that are non allies, or rather the ones that are the problem, I pick my battles and I prefer to have them online. And yeah, I would just say don't.
Don't.
And not because I think they're all terrorists, right? That's not what I'm saying. I just personally, as a Jew, I find that they can be often a little bit unpleasant. I conserve my energy and not everyone deserves it. I do enjoy dealing with trolls in the comments. A lot of them are not gonna change their mind from one conversation. Maybe if you think you can, each case in its own, and take your judgment. And if they are allies, then obviously I really appreciate them. Or you, if you're a Muslim ally and you're here, I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for, taking the time to learn what it's like from the other side. And one important thing for me, actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to say that a lot of the people who come here because of propaganda, they think that Israelis in general, like they hate Arab people or that they hate Muslims. That's not true, all right? Israelis want peace way more than the average person, right? Israel is the side that would love to coexist with their neighbors. I personally would love to live the same way I live in Canada, but in Israel, one of the reasons of why I left is because I can't live the way I live in Canada, but in Israel.
That I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles, and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Okay, here's a fun question. Am I aware of the damage AI is doing both to people and for the environment? So, fun fact, my master's was actually about AI. and that's why I'm qualified to talk about this. And I was really looking at the intersection between people, AI, and the implication it has on society. So I'm aware that it can do a lot of really bad things, but it's a tool. Yes, it does also have damage on the environment, but so did electricity and cars. I don't think that's a good enough reason to stop us from progress because humanity has always found ways around it. Actually, hold on. I'm not saying AI doesn't use energy. It does. But so does everything valuable. Look at flying, cars. And if you think that flying is worth the cost, then we should evaluate AI by the same metrics. Because in comparison to flying, AI doesn't consume as much energy. And if you look at other industries like the beef industry or agriculture, they consume energy too. And they consume far more than AI in comparison. Yes, it has environmental costs, but I do believe the benefit can outweigh the cost. We just need to wait and see and evaluate the science. And a big part of why I started this channel is because I hope that one day I'll be able to teach all of you and everyone is seeing this, how to use AI. It just so happens that Israel and Palestine is one use case where algorithms and amplifiers can have a really bad consequences. But in general, it's a tool, right? AI is only as bad as how you wield it. So yeah, don't knock it till you try it. Okay, so I guess now let's talk about why I left Israel. So why did I leave Israel? One, first and foremost, I'm ADHD, constantly living under rockets and under Hamas. For all the trolls in the comments are going to say terrorism works. No. Terrorism only works on the people that can or have the ability to run. All right. I'm very fortunate that my family was able to support me and to facilitate me leaving Israel and moving to Canada. But I'm very aware that I'm the fortunate one for being here. Big shout out to my parents. And leaving my family and leaving so far away has definitely been one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. And at the time, I definitely didn't think about it. When I left, I couldn't take the wars, I couldn't take the stress, I couldn't take the anxiety. And at the time, I was undiagnosed ADHD, right? So it's like my brain, it's like the Wild West out here. Couldn't handle it. I wanted to calm my nervous system, and I think it was definitely needed, all right? It was definitely needed for me to step away, and I 100% plan to go back, but I am not going back before the Islamic Republic is gone. I'm not saying that I'm going to single handedly take them down. I don't know. I don't care, but I am not going back before they're gone.
Are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
And I guess part of why I'm doing this and part of why I have this channel is because after coming to Canada, I kind of discovered Iran and Iranians, and that's a whole topic for another video. But I do want to answer, because it is a little cliche, because we're so cliche, but I do want to tie it back to one more answer, to one more question. Because after I came to Canada, I discovered Iran and Iranians, and that made a whole difference. So my heart goes out to you because I see what you're going through in Iran and then what you have to go through in diaspora and the gaslighting, and you have to hear, privileged people telling you that your pain isn't real. So, one, I want you to know you're not alone. You have Israel and you have Jews, and we are not going to stop until you're free. Part of how we survive, the biggest survival tactic, is just being a community really helps. The Jewish community is so close and so tight. Everyone is always looking out for each other. You have multiple resources, you have somewhere to go, you have Shabbat dinners, you always have a sense of like belonging. And even if I don't have the time, I know that there's always Chabad, there's always Shabbat dinners, there's always somewhere that I could go if I wanted to, if I needed that community. So I think that finding your community is really big. And it's also part of why I started my page, because I knew that the community exists and I knew that we are not alone.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Okay, so last question, because I do want to end on a positive note. Am I optimistic about the world at large having a positive view on Jews again? Am I optimistic about the world having a positive view about Jews? Yes. Again, I'm not sure about that part. I don't think the world at large, like as a whole, has ever viewed Jews positively. In general, maybe they tolerated us, maybe they didn't say anything, but I definitely don't think that they ever, liked us, or else the Holocaust wouldn't have happened. I think anti Semitism was normalized in various parts of the world for a long time. And I think that's also why we're seeing today. I think that you're just kind of seeing all that was bubbled down kind of surfacing up. But I think that step one for treating a problem is exposing it and talking about it, right? So I think that it's a good thing that it's all coming out, because if they keep it down and they keep it bottled, then you can't even solve it or resolve it. So I do think that once people will see that, the world will see that we just want to live our lives and just exist in Judea, the Jewish homeland. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing what it's like, or if you're interested in me, my mission, AI, or just in general hearing the other side of the story, click subscribe and help me reach my first 100 subscribers, because I would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. And if you have other questions and you'd like to know more, leave me down in the comments below and I'll get to them. I don't do Q&A as often, but I do when I do them on Instagram, so do feel free to join me there. I'm not going to answer anything stupid, so don't ask me why I kill babies in my free time, because I don't.